All right, so in Florida recently, they changing the teaching standard on the slavery narrative, saying that you got to teach it from a perspective of it wasn't all bad because the slaves learned a skill set that they could translate and use for themselves. How you feel about that?
That sounds like bullshit. That would have been illegal back then to use any of them skills for yourselves. And most of the slaves that they took from Africa were already farmers, so it wasn't like they learned nothing new or they couldn't learn for free at home. I mean, so slavery did benefit socially, economically for white people, not black people. And a lot of black people don't like when I say this, but I think black people should take more of a patriotic stance because we built America. America was built on our blood, so the idea of going back to Africa, a continent, not a country, but a continent that never came back and got us anyway, sounds kind of fucking stupid to me. It seems like we should already take what we worked and built for. Like, we made all this shit. Why don't we own none of it?
Facts. Like, that's always been my perspective, especially when it comes to reparations. My whole point of the reason blacks deserve reparations isn't based solely upon the race. It's the fact that you deprived me of my right as an American. While everybody else was getting the land grabs and getting all of this shit that the government was okaying, we was the ones doing the work but couldn't partake in any of the benefit. Like, yo, so you owe me that as a motherfucking American. I done fought, died, bled, worked, sweat, tired, just like every motherfucking else, but yet I get none of the benefits of that.
But he just said some shit to y'all. So I normally don't tell secrets, but I just gotta go ahead and touch right quick, right? So the reason that the U.S. is allowing the Mormons, to where they getting off their back about the polygamy thing, you can have multiple wives and shit. The reason they getting off their backs is because the Mormon church owns the slave record sales books. So that's receipts for people. So if you trade all them receipts back on them people, a lot of these big tobacco companies, cigarette companies, I don't smoke no cigarettes, so I'm not gonna give them no free promo, but a lot of them benefited off slavery. A lot of the big powerhouses and families in the U.S. bit off slavery. So if you trace them receipts back, that would be your exact dollar amount on what you owe a black person on reparations. And I'm just telling you all that because he said some shit, so the Lord told me to go ahead and let y'all know that shit, so I'm gonna let y'all know that shit. Look up, reach out to your councilman, have them tell you I'm a liar. You know what I'm saying? We're going here.
Facts, though. Like, even with that, right? So, some of the greatest corporations in America, some of the oldest ones, benefited from slavery. Like, all the insurance companies, like, where you think that come from? Like, what were they insuring? Cargo ships of slaves. Like, yo, like, that was millions and millions of dollars compounded over centuries.
It's way more than that.
You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
America's so fucked up. When they figured out the niggas was tired of being slaves, they started breeding them.
Exactly.
Everywhere else got out of the slave trade before America. What does that tell you?